Shalom to you, my friend. This Sunday, 26th of October, is the 30th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Today's Gospel, taken from Luke chapter 18, verses 9 to 14, contains the parable of a Pharisee and the tax collector. It is about two persons with two different styles of prayer. One who personifies pride, and the other who epitomizes humility. Let us understand some core lessons taught through this parable. First, justification is by grace, not works. The parable starkly contrasts two paths of justification before God. The Pharisee relies on his good works and scrupulous religious observance, but his pride prevents him from receiving God's mercy. The tax collector, with nothing to offer but his brokenness, relies entirely on God's mercy and is justified by God. This shows that salvation comes through God's grace alone, not human effort. The parable also teaches us to beware of spiritual pride and self-righteousness. The Pharisee's prayer is a prime example of spiritual pride, which Jesus calls out as a danger to everyone, including those in the church today. By comparing himself favorably to others, the Pharisee blinded himself to his own sin and need for God's forgiveness. Such an attitude is an abomination to God, who opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. The parable further teaches us a beautiful lesson that humility is the path to God's favor. In contrast to the Pharisee's arrogance, the tax collector's humility is what pleases God. His prayer is simple, honest, and completely dependent on God's compassion. This teaches that true righteousness comes from a humble heart that acknowledges its sinfulness and trusts in God's mercy. Another important message to be derived from the parable is that God sees the heart, not just outward actions. On the outside, the Pharisee appeared righteous, while the tax collector was a public sinner. However, the Pharisee's private prayer revealed a proud and unrepentant heart, while the tax collector showed genuine contrition. God is more concerned with the sincerity of our heart than with our outward performance of religious duties. Finally, the parable teaches us that true prayer comes from a heart which is truly repentant and whose heart is totally dependent on God.